This is the Stoked Bloke Show, peoples, where we believe surfing is medicine and the ocean is the cure. We're back, peoples. Welcome to the Stoked Bloke Show. I'm Barton Lynch. I'm joined by Peter King. Right here, we're brought to you by a New Earth project and their S3 surfboard shipping system. We'll talk more about that, but if you're sending boards anywhere, you better be using it because it's environmentally friendly and doing good things for the planet. We're here at the Pipeline Studios. It's more or less summer. It's flat out there at the moment here in Hawaii, but we're at the 6th event in mark of the World Surf League Tour. PK, I thought we'd have a look at that, look at the results so far. Some great surfing going on. The Brazilian storm has been just dominating, but there's been one Italian, the Italian stallion, Leonardo Fioravanti, now in the yellow jersey and leading after getting second yesterday in Brazil to Iago Dora. We'll recap the year on that. We've had some sad things happen in the world of surfing. We'll also touch base on that. But how are you, mate? How's life for you?
I'm good, yeah. I just got back from, ironically, New York City.
Yeah, I heard you were there.
As far away as you can get from Hawaii, apparently.
And how was?
11-hour plane ride. I didn't realize that. It's the same distance as going direct to Bali.
11 hours?
Yeah, we went for a concert series. New Earth Project was doing merchandise for a band called Goose.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so Wes Carter was back there and some friends, and we got 3 days of concerts.
Yeah.
And a lot of music, a lot of late nights. We were involved in the merch packaging with a product that we distribute called Sway. Have you heard of Sway?
Yes, I have heard of Sway.
It is this wonderful plastic-looking see-through clear bag, but it's made of seaweed.
Yeah, yeah. It's completely compostable.
Yeah, in fact, I ate it mostly for lunch. I put it on top of my salad. Yeah, crumbled it up after people got their packaging. And also we had some other things going on. An artist friend of ours, Chris Benchetler,
Yes.
did a couple limited edition run posters. And so we were involved in this little concert run, and it was fun to be there. Fun to get out of Hawaii, actually, for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I got out as well while you were away. I went down to Tahiti and French Polynesia and visited my daughter and my granddaughters and spent the time down there with them and woke up every morning to being jumped on by a 2- and a 4-year-old with the biggest smiles on their face going, "Grandpa!" And it was just such a wonderful time down there, beautiful part of the world.
Were they tugging at the beard a little bit?
Well, you know what? I don't know if you noticed, people.
You shaved it a little bit.
No, you know how it used to come out all the sides?
Yeah.
They're like, "Grandpa, we want to cut your beard." I said, "We can do that."
So you allowed children with scissors to go at you?
Yeah, man. I figured I had so much. What could go wrong? So we got all these, side bits, and the grandkids trimmed her up. And I feel like, at least it's not buffing out the side, but it's still pretty buffy.
Yeah. It's still there. Still iconic.
And I got to catch up with the great Vatea Poto David down there, my brother from another mother.
Love Poto.
Yeah, we went down there in 1990 and stayed with Poto and took us down to Chopu, and I've known him since the tour days, and we've continued to catch up, and having my granddaughter down there means that I get to see him quite a bit. And he's a fireman, first responder, and the day he picked me up a couple of days ago, he'd just come from pumping a guy's chest, trying to save a guy's life, and the drunk son of the person whose life he's trying to save there is threatening him, telling him, "Hey, if my father dies, I'm going to kill you. If my father dies," and he's there trying to save a guy's life while his own life is being threatened by the drunk who was in the car with the father for the car accident. It just made me think, I said to him, no wonder you can do those rescues at Chopu like you do, because what you deal with every day is just trauma, people's trauma, and then he goes home and washes it off, and he's back there the next morning for another day of saving and rescuing lives. So massive shout out to Poto for what he does for work, but what he also does for recreation in saving people's lives. And we saw most recently, only a few days back more or less, that a Californian surfer lost his life there at Teopu, and the word on the street, mate, is that you knew Patrick Phillips. That's the gentleman's name who passed away. So we send our respects to Patrick and his family. You did know him, mate.
Yeah, just a wonderful human being. One of my favorite people I've ever met, actually. Wow. And people say that a lot about people, but this guy had a way about him. I mean, you left the interaction like pumped.
Wow.
Like, oh, wow. He's
Really?
so full of life.
He's a stoked bloke himself.
He is a real stoked bloke. Always an encourager, hilarious. You know how you like to pay out with your best friends, right?
Yes,
you know,
yes.
That's how you know you have a good friend. If you have an interaction with someone where it's like, hey, how you doing? You look great. That's not your real friend. Your real friend is like, dude, what's with that baloney patch on top of your head? That's how you have a real friend. He's so witty. You know, I like to do that a bit myself.
I was going to say, coming from you,
I like
that
to
means
have
a lot.
little jousting with people and mockery because I want it back.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my sparring partner. He was so good at that.
Wow.
And we had so much fun. I consider him a Grom, even though I'm only 2 years older than him. But when you're in grade school, you're in 12th grade and someone's in 10th grade. That's the new kids coming into class. So I always maintained like, oh, he's a Grom. And I saw he was 56 and I can't believe that I didn't realize he was my age. That he was a super Grom.
Yeah.
Because he was so full of life too.
Yeah.
And energy. Had 2 kids and a wife, unfortunately, right before Father's Day, down there with friends. You said maybe the helmet was cracked. I don't know the details. It's still sketchy getting details. I know the family's dealing with getting the body back, which is awkward, right?
All the grief of the situation itself.
Yeah.
Poto said that what he had heard was that helmet was cracked in 3 places.
Yikes.
You know, it's got so much power. The ocean over there in Tahiti's just got that energy, that mana, that power in it that doesn't need a big wave to slam you on the reef. So really, really disappointing to see that. The last death there was Bryce Teorea in 2000. So it's been, 25, 26 years since someone's passed away there. I know I saw the great photographer Tim McKenna come out after Matahi Drole's close incident. Did you see that on that massive swell? Those boats got hit by the whitewater of the wave and washed into other boats, and they got trapped in there because of all the boats. And could you think of anything more horrific than sitting on a boat jammed in that little spot? I would not do it.
Yeah, being a surfer coming out of the barrel and seeing tin boats that are going to slice you in half.
And he had to, Matahi had to sort of take the down line into the whitewater and take the wipe out rather than slam into the boat. So the government, they saw the chaos that was going on. They closed the break for a few days after that on that next big swell. And so, Tim McKenna came out and said, someone's going to die. This is not good the way it is. It's kind of, people are taking it too lightly, and it's something bad's going to happen. Something really bad's going to happen. At the same time in your life, if you've got ambitions and you've got goals and you want to try and achieve things and push yourself, that's living. Yeah. That is living. That is being alive. And to take the easy ride and hide from all of the challenges that present in life is no way to live. So, it's a fine line, isn't it? Seeing through your goals and your ambitions and trying to grow and make yourself happy and proud, and at the same time risking everything is a wild way to live. And I feel like that living here and surfing here in Hawaii is a little bit precarious like that. You're on that edge as well, because anything at any time can go wrong. Let's switch modes a little bit. Let's look at that world tour and cheer things up.
Where are you at in the ratings currently on the world tour?
Well, I'm unrated.
What?
Uncalculated. And I've got to be honest, I haven't watched a lot. Have you watched a lot this year?
Yeah, I mean, I poke in because I'm on a couple fantasy surfer teams, so the gambling keeps me interested. But I mean, I'm always keeping tabs and watching heats. Now, a lot of the contests have been happening at the complete opposite time frame.
Exactly.
So it's not that you lose interest, it's that you're checking in after the fact. But before you can get to look at it, you're seeing the blurbs come up on social media. And there's a little disconnect with the time zones.
That's how it's been for me as well. They got started at Bells Beach, and we saw Miggy win the men's, beating Iago in the final. And then Gabriella Bryan won the women's, and she beat Molly in the final. So at the very first event of the year, Bells Beach, the world champions, Iago and Molly, both made the final. So they started their campaigns in more or less as good as form as you could, and then not winning keeps the hunger there. Then they went to Margs, and we saw Lakey Peterson get a win there, which was fantastic because she's been hard at it for so long, and we know the bigger waves, the open ocean swell spots aren't her forte, so to speak, but she's obviously grown and learnt that. George Pittar from Manly, Australia, North Stain Board Riders. Spent a lot of time in Vanuatu as a kid, but that was my Board Riders club. That was the beach I grew up at. North Stain Board Riders, super stoked with Pitar beating Medina in the final. And then Luana Silva made that final against Lakey and got a second place, and then made the final at Snapper Rocks as well. Back-to-back finals for Luana Silva. So that's an amazing
I know she's Brazilian, but she's basically a North Shore girl.
She's a North Shore girl. They've grown up here and has the Brazilian blood in there, but also, and represents Brazil, but grown up here, and an incredible surfer and a great start for her to her year. Stephanie Gilmore won Snapper and beat Luana in that final.
Stephanie who? She's a rookie?
The GOAT, you know the GOAT.
She's a rookie?
She's the best of all time, but she ain't doing that great right here. She's currently way down those ratings right now. She had that win. She's down in 13th place.
With a win?
With the win.
Wow.
And that's how poorly she's done in all the other events.
How many events have there been?
6 events.
Okay, so we're still going through them. Sorry, I cut you off there.
We're halfway through. More or less, 6 events in, but to see her with the win and still down in 13th place says something. Snapper, obviously she's going to, that's her greatest chance of winning an event. The rest of the locations have been tough for her. Ethan Ewing won the men's there, and when you look at Steph and Ethan winning on that right-hand sand point break, that kind of makes sense as well. Ethan, Queenslander, grew up there on Stradbroke Island, used to surfing the points.
There wouldn't have been one person's fantasy surfer team that didn't have both of them in it.
Yeah, 100%. And if they're going to win events, you feel like that's the event those two guys would win. So that kind of went to script. Connor O'Leary got second to Ethan Ewing there at Snapper, and that backhand surfing from Connor O'Leary this year and winning J Bay, we saw that last year. I believe it's some of the best backhand surfing I've ever seen. So powerful, so vertical, blows the back out of those waves like Johnny Boy Gomes does.
His legs are as big as your body.
Yeah, they are. His legs like my torso.
You don't have as big of legs as him.
No, I've got chook legs, mate. You know that. Don't bring up my legs when you know what they look like, skinny little things.
Spider-Man.
But we've been putting on a little chunk in the legs. I like flex them and go, look, there's actually some muscle there from doing my training. So that feels really good. So then they came out of Australia and they went to Raglan. I'm interested to hear what you thought of Raglan as a location.
I thought it's great. I mean, unfortunately, the wind was into it, a lot of devil wind days, but what a great location. I wish the tour could strike it and not have to pick a date a year in advance.
Yeah.
I wish they could just say, hey, guys, we're going to go to either Raglan or Tahiti, depending on where the swell comes, and then the city councils just allocate them 3 or 4 days for an event.
Give them that flexibility to move around and take advantage.
Before the event was great.
So
who would have cared if they would have held it 2 days earlier?
Yeah. Did the Kiwis absolutely loved it, eh? It was that, you got that vibe, like people are so stoked to have the tour in town. The first time it's been there in such a long time. It's a beautiful town, a beautiful wave. It did, I suppose, due to the conditions, it led to a little bit of repetitious type of surfing, it would seem. Italo Ferreira won the event, going to the air.
Everybody hated that one wave where he did like 17 pop air 360s. Yeah. They weren't like the great blast that he's capable of, but they had to give him the score apparently.
And it was just different. Where the repetition on the backhand and even on the forehand, when it started to kind of go, okay, I've seen that. What Italo did was take a different approach to that wave. And sometimes it's hard to do airs on point breaks, right? It's more a beach break section type of thing. And the fact that he could turn that point break into a ramp and then into another ramp and into another ramp.
Wind.
Yeah, he was
riding the wind,
And the opportunities and really escalating what you could score on those waves out of just traditional turns. So
did you check into the Raglan Surf Report at all? Yeah. He's hilarious,
He's hilarious, bro. Yeah. And he rips.
Yeah.
He surfs for Luke Cederman, That's his name. He surfs great. He's got a great sense of humour, and he was able to take the piss out of the WSL regularly, and he does that in such a fun way. Great production. We love your stuff. So that event to me felt really good. I enjoyed seeing somewhere new. And although it wasn't firing and they had the waves before the event again, it was a success, you'd have to say. Then they went down to El Salvador, to Punta Roca, and it was all kind of back-to-back pretty quickly the last month with events.
Have you been to Punta Roca for the games?
The ISA go to El Sunzal and La Bocana.
A different spot.
Different spot. Same kind of area.
I just heard the one thing is the rocks are really dangerous for the competitors' feet.
So gnarly getting in and out. Looks like Lennox Head or whatever, where it's just slippery boulders and everybody's just falling over those things. And if you can stay in one pace getting in and out, then you're a chance of winning the event.
I would have worn booties and then tossed them to someone in the water and then put them back on, like the water patrol or something.
Yeah, I know they have those rash vests with the zipper at the back and you can put them in your back. That's not a bad idea, or you just got to become a Burley Heads is another spot that's really gnarly with those type of rocks. What do you reckon about Leonardo Fioravanti winning his first event?
Oh, that was great. Long time coming. I thought he'd won Pipeline against Barron out here.
Yeah.
But that was weird. The judges were making up for something earlier in the heat, but it was just an incorrect situation because they said he needed 9. He got an obvious 9.5.
Yeah.
Obvious.
Yeah.
And they didn't give him the win. So whatever. He got his win. And, I don't want to jump ahead on your story, but he is wearing yellow.
He's wearing yellow now because he got that win. Then he went to Rio and made the final and got second, and he's now in the yellow jersey. And that is amazing. When you saw the emotion and the tears and the feeling, like it's been a long time, he's been hard at it. And when you're on the tour, you know this, there becomes points where you think to yourself, I'm never going to win one. And the little voice in your head starts telling you that, hey, you ain't going to win one. You'll never win another one. I remember going through that. You're not going to win another one. You better get used to it. It's over, mate.
How's that one?
That one was gnarly.
You get your first birdie golf and you'll never get another one.
Yeah, exactly like that.
But I want one more.
Just one more, please. And to see Leonardo and Richard Marsh is coaching him, and he's a part of that team with Tyler Wright and Connor O'Leary and under Dog's tutelage. And that team are deadly, and they're ripping, and they're doing great work, and Doggo is a fantastic coach.
So do you get Dog like a yellow hoodie for your heats,
Well, you'd walk down to that next event in a yellow hoodie for sure, wouldn't you? I'd be straight to...
Now, it's just the yellow jersey. It's a big accomplishment. You got to hold on. The final event's going to be right behind us here at Pipeline. How long till we get there? And there's some weird,
another 6, right?
There's some weird stuff that I don't even understand about how they're going to limit the fields for a couple of events.
Yeah, towards the end there, into the last 3 events, they limit the field. I don't know why you would do that.
I mean, we're pretty inside baseball. We should know, and we can't even figure it out. So we'll just find out when it happens.
Yes, mate.
But there's a lot of events before the end.
Yeah, another 6, I suppose, right? 12 events. So with 6 in, we're at the halfway mark, you would imagine. Down there in El Salvador, amongst the joy for Italy, was Carissa Moore, winning back-to-back. She won it at Raglan, and the backhand surfing she did at Raglan was the best backhand surfing she has ever done. Incredible backhand surfing, really stood out and shone above the pack. She beat Sawyer Lindblad in that final, and that was an amazing result for her to make the final down there, Sawyer Lindblad. She was building momentum into Rio, went to Rio and got the win. And then the El Salvador back-to-back for Carissa, which was incredible. And then Leonardo going back-to-back with the finals into Rio. Rio saw Yago Dora stand above the pack, the world champ, sort of stood up and went, hey, I'm here, I'm going to get a win too. He's had finals, he's had good results. We'll have a look at those ratings in just a second. So Yago and Sawyer getting the wins, and Leonardo getting second place to Yago. But then Tia Zabrowski, the youngest girl ever, and we can call her a girl because she's actually still a young teenager, got second place, and she's a super talent. But Sawyer Lindblad and her showing what the future's going to look like.
There's a lot of mix-up and shake-up event to event.
Absolutely, yeah. And the ratings have got things really, really close.
This tour this year's been going like non-stop.
Yeah, bang, bang.
It reminds me
bang.
of when you were on tour and there was 22 events and stuff like that. You blink and there's another event.
And it helps the competitors build momentum. You get into a rhythm, you get comfortable. It's not like waiting another month or so, 6 weeks to go again, especially out of a good result. You want to keep the momentum going. A bad result, you want revenge. You want to get that chance to go back at it. So that's been a great first half. It has Gabrielle O'Brien hanging on to the leader's jersey. So she's been in that leader's jersey for a long time. And even with 2 wins, Carissa Moore's in second.
Wow.
So, that speaks to the other results and the consistency that both her and Stephanie Gilmore, when they're on, they're unbeatable, but there's those cracks showing, and the young surfers coming through with the performance levels that they're bringing to the game are actually starting to take advantage of those cracks for the older guard, it would seem.
No mention of Katie Simmers in a lot of that dialogue that you were just saying.
Exactly. Not a single mention, or Molly Picklin.
Or Molly.
Yeah, Molly made that first final, and it's been quiet since there. Sawyer Lindblad up to third with the win in Rio. Congrats to her. Your first CT win is always just a magical thing, and she'll have that connection with Saquarema and Brazil for the rest of her life. That'll be a really warm spot for her. Fourth place, Luana Silva with those two finals is in fourth. Molly in fifth, Caitlin in sixth. So we get to her down in sixth place. Been fairly consistent, but not, just that breakthrough moment hasn't happened. But you would say, given the performance levels that she is capable of, we've got to see something soon. Lakey in seventh. Caroline Marks down there in eighth. So onto the men's ratings. And it's a unique situation where we've got an Italian in number one, Leonardo Fioravanti, and we're all...
An Italian from Hossegor.
Yeah, that's right. And with a bloodline connected to surfing all the way to the core of Kelly Slater and so on. And it's he's had a close relationship to the sport, and that goal's been there for a very long time. And I'm so proud of him, so happy for him to see him achieve that. The tears, the emotions really got to me and made me sort of tear up at home going, yes, because I remember how that feels, and it's amazing to spend... I didn't wait that long before I got a win, honestly. And for those campaigners that just keep going and keep going and keep working and living for their dreams, and then they get it, that's what really makes me happy. So first place, Leonardo. Then comes the Brazilian Storm. Italo second, Iago third, Gabrielle fourth, Miggy fifth, all goofy footers for the record. So 4 of the top 5 goofy footers and from Brazil. In sixth place is Samuel Pupo. So it goes from Italy in first to second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, all from Brazil, all in incredible form, all in striking distance. Because when you look at the points, basically Leonardo, Italo and Gabrielle have got 1,000 points between them. They're all right there, right next to each other. So it's a super exciting one. Miguel, Sam, and his brother Sammy. Imagine being right there, with your brother 5th and 6th on the ratings. Wild. That's so cool.
Miggy is 67 years old.
Not quite. What do you reckon he is?
Miggy's got to be in his mid-30s.
Yeah, he's on fire. He's doing the best surfing of his career.
Yes.
And his younger brother is doing the best surfing of his career, and we know how good he's going to be. The best is still ahead for Sammy Pupo. Then we go into a few Aussies. 7th, Ethan Ewing. 8th, George Pittar. So Ethan expected. George Pittar performing above what would be expectation and killing it. And he's doing it in great form. And to win at Margaret's was amazing. And I know all the crew down there, I know on Instagram they were showing, they had their Board Riders Club contest on that day. And so the club contest is going, but they've also got the big screen with the webcast going. And then they just went bananas when he wins. That whole beach was just up in arms, and some really great sights. And, that's my hometown, so sending our Stoke back that way. And then Liam O'Brien in 10th place.
Lob.
So got those 3 Aussies in that top 10. Jack Robinson. Griffin's in 12th for that. Jack Robinson down in 13. Cowley in 14. The surprise there for Felipe in 15th. Morgan Siblick 16th. So it's kind of a bit of a shake-up at those goofy Brazilians, mate. They are the best. If you look at goofy generations, you would have to look at our one.
Tommy Carroll, you, Glenn Winton, Richo.
Oh, yeah, even if you go...
Who am I leaving out?
You're leaving
Robbie
out
Page.
Tommy Carroll.
There's a lot.
Damien Hardman.
Oh, yeah, Duma.
Derek Ho.
D-Ho.
There's that generation was incredible as far as goofy goes.
Did you guys? You guys didn't have many events that were lefts though, huh? You were all going backside or tic-tacking at beach breaks back and forth.
A lot of beach breaks and yeah, like you said, not many lefts. And it's always been and I think we most probably liked it that way. Because the backhand still to this day is the weapon of choice. If you don't have an air, it's a backhand re-entry, isn't it? And we've seen a lot of that controversy communication, people debating about airs and how they're scored and how that fits in. How do you feel about that whole assessment of airs in the modern day?
Oh, me?
Yes.
I thought you were asking the audience.
No, well, how do you people feel? Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think about the way that's being scored now, but I'm interested to hear what you think.
Well, I think good airs should be in the excellent range every time. Everything that's a good, crazy air that you go, whoa, that was wild.
Yeah.
But if it's an average little air, no, nothing.
Yes.
If it's a crazy thing you're doing, it should be scored very high. Especially the landing is key. How clean you walk away from it.
Yeah.
But not everything that goes in the air is mind-blowing. And when it's repetitive and not that great, I would almost degrade it compared to... But there wasn't a lot of opportunity. Obviously, I'm talking about
Raglan.
New Zealand. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of opportunity like a glassy morning where you could just carve and hit the lip and blow the tail.
The devil wind was
And you
air
can't
wind.
blame a surfer. I think we're talking directly to the judges who are nameless, faceless, and shall never have to, acknowledge themselves or explain themselves.
Accountably.
We'll never hear from them ever. But why? Why are you overscoring multiple tricks? Remember, Jadson had a run early in his career where he was doing that same thing, blowing up in the air, landing and spinning, and they went crazy for it, and then they just cut it off.
Cut it off.
They said, and you're done with this.
And that, for me, I was commentating around that time as well, and that, for me, it was a wet blanket on the whole air movement. And it gave world titles to Mick Fanning and Joel Parkinson.
It shouldn't have been. It should have just been more explained that you can't do this repetitive thing that's not that hard.
Yeah.
We want airs. We want critical landings. We want boosting, of course.
Oh, that's how I feel. I love them.
Yeah.
I love the aerials. I feel like if it's something that people can't do, it has to be judged in a certain way that respects the fact that there's only a few that can do it. And when you look at the backhand re-entries of the world...
Everyone can do that.
Oki was doing them 20 years ago.
Well, that was 40 years ago. By the way.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 40.
A long time ago. And the backhand re-entries... Sure, there's some power, there's some speed, there's some finesse, there's some ripping out of the top and tail drifts and some subtle differences.
Yes,
but generally...
And the connectivity, the speed, like you're saying, and the power, that matters. But it's so much easier. Most average surfers that I work with or coach or help, they can't surf frontside very well. They can all surf backside. Everyone can push off the backside.
Exactly. But not everyone can go to the air.
No.
And not everyone can do the aerials that the Brazilian Storm in particular, and we know Jack Robbo and Griff, people can. The Brazilians just tend to go to it more often as almost like a safety measure to get them out of a troubled situation, and it works more often than not because it's incredible and not everyone can do it. And that's how I feel. If it's something everyone can do, it's almost like actually the airs aren't overscored, the backhand re-entries are. And if the backhand re-entries scoring was dropped down to something that was realistic, then you could drop the airs down a little bit and they would sit in a place that felt more familiar and you get a better balance of things. But for me, if it's something that people can't do, that's when I fall out of my seat because I feel like it should be a reward because it's not something that everybody can do. A backhand re-entry is something that most people can. I wanted to talk a little bit about the S3 board shipping system, PK. And this is a board shipping system designed by a New Earth project. They've developed a way to ship surfboards that uses no bubble wrap or single-use plastics at all of any kind. The S3 is what launched a New Earth project into that marketplace. And today they work with brands like Album, Firewire, Chemistry and more. Right? If you are the owner of a surfboard brand or you're getting a surfboard shipped to you or you're shipping a surfboard somewhere, you should feel obliged to use the S3 system because it's the most environmentally friendly, sustainable surfboard shipping system in the world, designed by a New Earth project, and we wanted to give them a plug for supporting the environment, for supporting the Stoked Bloke Show, and creating products, because we all know how's when you get that bubble wrap new surfboard. The guilt, radical, mate. So, and I would feel like that if I was a surfboard company. If I'm a surfboard company, I'm shipping boards all around the world and I'm using bubble wrap still.
It's basically like sending someone a dead body. Like, how do you get rid of all that bubble wrap?
Exactly.
With your conscience high.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You think, oh, I'll save some of this. I'll reuse it when I'm shipping a vase to my family member or a framed picture. But nope. You can't store it. Takes up too much space.
Exactly.
And it's basically unrecyclable thin film plastic. It doesn't even fit, and you couldn't even put it in the bin. What you wrapped 3 surfboards in? It's a crime scene when
and
that
you
stuff
end up
arrives.
popping it. The best thing about it is when kids jump on it and pop it, and it becomes a toy.
Yeah.
But it's an environmentally disastrous toy. So big thank you to A New Earth Project and the S3 surfboard shipping system. Check it out, peoples. Yeah, PK. So we sort of started earlier on the podcast on a sad note. And wanted to revisit another passing of a community member, really, of the Blast-Off last year in the BL Blast-Off Global Video Challenge. The boys' 10s was won by an incredible young surfer from the south coast of New South Wales in Australia, Taylor Bartlett. Taylor's an incredible young surfer going places. His dad, Nathan, is someone I've known for a long time since he was a kid. And Taylor's dad, Nathan, passed away recently as well in a surfing accident. Don't need to go into too much detail there, but when Taylor won the 10s, he won a brand new Channel Islands custom ordered board, and we got that for him, and the surfing he's been doing is absolutely incredible. But obviously now the young fella's dealing with a lot, having lost his father. His dad was an incredible surfer, big wave charger, and a really lovely bloke. So we wanted to send out our love and respect to Taylor and his family, his mum and sister. So sad to hear of Dad's passing. He's only 43 years of age, He passed.
Too young.
Yeah, it's too young, mate. He passed doing what he loved. But Taylor, we're all with you. The Blast-Off community supporting you, mate. We love you. My dad passed when I was 10 years old as well, So I know what you're going through. That's what I suppose really brings up the emotions for me, for Taylor as well, mate. So I know what you're going through, but just know that we're all sending our love your way, mate. And, we'll know you get through, and every wave you ride will make your dad proud. So good on you, Nathan. Sending love your way up there. And Taylor, we're all with you, mate. And again, there's I know a lot of sick people right now. I know a lot of people with cancer. My brother Clayton's going through chemo right now with cancer, and Troy Lotus, a good friend of ours. I know a lot of people who are going through stuff right now, and health's what you got, people. And if you're happy and you're healthy, feel good about it, and share the Stoke with other people, mate. I tell you who's been sharing the Stoke, and that is this. Well, I suppose we've got an El Nino, a super El Nino, people calling it the biggest El Nino for 150 years, starting to brew. The ocean temperatures are warming up for this winter, and people are calling it's going to be one of the great winters of all time. We've already seen some incredible south swells. Obviously, we saw the big swells at Chopu that we talked about, and some incredible rides there. Down at Porto Escondido, how good is that wave? Incredible, mate.
Especially if you're Nathan Florence.
Yeah, Nathan, Ivan, those guys, and everyone that was down there for those swells, they were some of the biggest, most perfect, crazy-looking beach breaks that looked exactly like Pipeline and Backdoor Pipeline, maybe bigger even, and holding onto the sandbars. So amazing waves down there in Porto. I know you saw some great waves at Bowls. They've had great waves in town here on the South Shore as well. They had the event there.
That's right. The event was incredible, and that was won by one of our good New Earth Project family members, Vaihiti.
Yeah, good to see her back competing. There was a little period where it felt like she was turned her back on competing, but
she was really competing. She won back-to-back QS titles, and of course, in the men's for the Hawaii region, Jackson Bunch went 3 in a row. 2 in Tahiti, and then he won Bowls. He was ripping. That Bowls contest is incredible. I'm so glad that they have it. They didn't have it last year.
Yeah, no.
And to put that on the schedule is really important for the Hawaii region to have we have a really great wave in town, and for everyone to get to surf it and compete there was really good.
Congratulations. Waves were firing.
I don't know what El Nino is going to bring this winter. I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, no, I'm scared too. I'm scared. I'm already trained and thinking, oh my gosh, this is, about the big wave riders of the world are all really excited and the meteorologists are talking about it.
What you might want to do if it gets really big is help me out with the photography.
No, you need a lackey. I'll be your lackey.
Stay out of the water.
Just give me a reason. Please stay on the deck and entertain everyone and do not go out.
No, it's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to bring waves, right?
Yeah.
Is it always from the west, though, El Nino, or is it north?
No, I think it's from the west. I think you get everything. They just come in maxed out size because the water's warmer, so the storms are bigger.
Can we request that it's more west than north?
Well, no, the north's good too. It depends where you go, mate. Here, it doesn't matter really which direction it goes if the wind's good.
It really doesn't matter to me if it's over 10 foot because I ain't going out. Yeah. It really doesn't matter at all. But I know if we get those huge wests, the pipeline is going to start breaking from off the wall all the way through to Ayukai, and that's just going to be a dream. Like, remember that Mark Healy wave?
Oh, yes.
A couple years ago?
Yep.
It's in the pipeline movie. But that wave, I feel like that's what...
Super long.
Yes.
I reckon it's going to be a great winter because last winter sucked. That was the worst winter on record, so it would make sense that things bounce back. Indo's been firing. Australia's had waves. It's... The oceans of the world, peoples, are on fire. We hope you're on fire. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you, PK. Good to have you back. And thank you for watching. Thank you to A New Earth Project for the Pipeline Studios. And we'll see you next show.